Alright, let's talk about this wave of social media bans that keep popping up because researchers are finally saying the quiet part out loud. These bans don't actually fix anything. They don't make people safer. They don't reduce harm. And they definitely don't increase sovereignty. What they do is give governments a corporation more levers to pull. And that's the part nobody wants to say. Researchers are pointing out something obvious. When you ban platforms, people don't magically stop talking. They just move. They scatter. They go to smaller platforms, encrypted channels, private groups, VPN routes, servers, places where they're less cited, less accountable, and less visible. So the ban doesn't solve the problem, it just pushes it into the shadows. And here's the sovereign angle. Every time a government bans a platform, they're not just protecting the public. They're centralizing control. They're tightening the funnel of what counts as approved speech. They're deciding which platforms get to exist and which ones don't. And once you normalize that, it becomes a tool, a lever, a switch they can flip whenever the narrative gets inconvenient. Researchers are literally warning that these bans create fragile systems because when you remove the major community channels, you don't strengthen society, you make it brittle. It creates dependency on fewer platforms, fewer gatekeepers, fewer points of failure. And we already seen what happens when a single platform goes down. Chaos happens. But here's the point. Here's the part I keep coming back to. If the goal is sovereignty, personal sovereignty, digital sovereignty, national sovereignty, then the bans are the opposite of sovereignty because choice is resilience. Redundancy, skills, and awareness. Not about locking down the digital world like a school Wi-Fi network. And the researchers are basically saying, hey, maybe instead of banning platforms, we should focus on literacy, transparency, and giving people tools to navigate the digital world. Imagine that, empowering people instead of restricting them. But that's not the direction the big systems like to go. Restriction is easier, control is easier, and once you start banning platforms, you're not far from banning ideas. And once you start banning ideas, you're not far from banning people. So researchers are raising concerns, but honestly, they're late to the party. Anyone who lived through the last 20 years of the internet already knows bans don't protect sovereignty, they erode it. And if we don't push back on this ban first, think later mentality. We're going to wake up one day and realize the digital world isn't ours anymore. It's theirs, and they'll tell us it's for our own good. And that's the facts. And that's my ramble. Like, follow, and subscribe. We'll see you again.